It's another episode of Hermitcraft, so welcome back is what I usually say, right? Welcome back to the Hermitcraft server. I am just getting ready to start record. I have hit the record button. I'm past the phase of getting ready to record. I don't know how to start this episode because I don't even know what we're going to do in this episode, right? I don't really have a plan other than right now to finish this project up. We've been working on it few episodes back, and I think it's about time we wrap things up and called this thing finished. Why did that stop there? And now I've nudged it and it's moved onwards. Anyway, if you're not familiar with this project, it is our multi-mob farm. It's like a combo of different types. So we've got the grass farm for passive mobs. We have dark rooms for the hostile mobs. It's a slime chunk, and there's cave spider spawners above it. Appropriate timing there. They've fallen down, got them wrecked. So it's a string farm as well. Now what I need to do is to sort out this chaos of storing things in these chests down here and move them over into a sorting system and then generally tie things up. Like I want to decorate a room here. Just do something simple, you know. So it's a nice place to come to. Sort out our AFK room and portal and just tidy it up so the project is all kind of tidied up and finished, right? So these rails that I were placing were to take the ones from over here. These minecart hoppers aren't time sensitive. They're going to get through all of that rail over here and back again within 5 minutes. So rather than transport all the items from this point into the system up there, I figured we're already moving items with our minecart hoppers, so let's bring them to the top up here. And this is where they will unload and then go off to the side, and then we have just the classic Impulse SV item filter system. I am yet to set it up. That's the next thing that I'm going to do. And I think this thing does about, what is it, 12 or 13? I think it's 13. You see, I've aligned it up with a cave spider spawner that was in this area, and that is going to be a part of our roof, so it's going to be an odd width wide. Anyways, I've sorted out the item filters, and do you know what? I think this is probably a little too large. Now, there are going to be some items that I don't really want to create individual filters for. For example, we have passive animals in here, and they're going to produce, look, all of these drops down here, plus wool as well, and wool comes in different colours from these sheep, so that will create the need for a lot of filters. I'm just going to let them all fill up in the end chests over here, but I should have probably done that for the witch drops as well, as sugar, redstone, glowstone and bottles. We're really not going to get a load of those, but anyway, this thing may be a little bit oversized, but we can, I believe, move on to decorating the room around it. As you can see, I tore out this. They now go up there. It all seems to be working, and I've got a bunch of junk to filter through here and just chuck into those chests, and then we could start to tidy up and decorate. I'm the worst, aren't I? I've gone and done it again. I've shrunk this thing down. I've spent ages building this and getting all the materials, and now I realise there's actually like 6 key items, and I could make it all symmetrical, compact and smaller. So the only thing really of note here is that up the top, let's climb up this, the hoppers come in, then they curl around and come back from the other side, so they last end up in the middle. That is not necessary right there. There you go. Oh yeah, this wouldn't even need a filter. Like this bit here doesn't need to be here either, right? So when it comes to decoration, I think I'm going to mix dark oak wood with red. I was just looking through what I had on hand and noticed I had a lot of bricks, so that tone of red. And I've started off just by throwing in this andesite. Remember, we got the... Wait, did I say andesite granite? We now got granite slabs, so I can put them directly on top of chests, and that means that I can enclose all of this so it looks nice and clean between all of the gaps. All you're going to see is this material and the sea lanterns. This room's going to end up being really quite small actually, because now I'm looking at where that is in relation to this, and it's just a square little room. So what we'll do is have our portal over on this side. You can then walk through the portal to the viewing gallery to look out into the farm and see all the death and destruction going on. Then on one side we'll have an entrance that takes you to the AFK spot, and the other side will simply be an entrance to the back area to see all of this stuff. We're going to have a water elevator to take us up to our AFK spot. Here we go. Whoosh. The spot is actually right there at the moment. This room's going to be decorated as well, but this is where I'm going to stand. And so when I move backwards from here, you can see the one at the bottom is no longer activated. Now what I could do is go lower down below and still activate them, but I'm higher up, And the reason for that is because we've got these spawning rooms down here. So I don't want to be in proximity of these spaces here, otherwise it will stop mobs from spawning. So that's why I've moved upwards as a compromise, and the distance should be over 24 blocks. So the way I've set this up is that we have a pressure plate here, so we can get through this iron door. It's going to be sort of sealed. The one on the other side is to open it when we come back from the other way. Now by default this will be a magma block, so when we step on this pressure plate we can have it automatically go to soul sand. So we can come downwards on the magma block and then we can exit, but when we go through, the activation of this will turn it to a soul sand to take us up to the top. And then for symmetry reasons, to get into the back area, we've got the same thing going on this side. Do you remember Wells Knight's Inksack farm? We've spent a bit of time over there in the past, and I may have moaned about the minecarts, which seem to be broken. And I've noticed this since 1.13. Look at what's going on right here. Somehow they both ended up on the same side, and then the way they go back and forth along the minecart track here is just not right. There is something wrong with this. It needs fixing. But anyway, let's not moan about that. This is coming together nicely. I'm taking my time, following my nose, so to speak, and everything so far so good. But I'm kind of breaking up the building by doing little jobs like this. So this is to activate our soul sand elevator over here. We have a comparator extension circuit right here. So when I stand on the pressure plate, we're going to create a signal that lasts for a fair bit longer. It will also then power the piston here and move the soul sand across. Now what it's also going to do is send the signal underneath through those repeaters over to that observer. Now the observer will create a signal when the redstone turns on, but the piston that it powers over the back here can't fire because the other one is extended. And then when the redstone turns off, it'll be able to extend again. So let's see that in action. You see it can't actually push the other one back because this is extended. And then when the signal is done decaying, which I'll simulate simply by breaking it, we get that second signal over there when it turns off, and that pushes it back to the magma block state. So if you're up there, you will be able to come back down. And if you're here and you walk into it, after a second it pushes you up, and you've got plenty of time to bob around here before you walk off. I feel like this quick beginning of the episode project has gone on for too long, so we need to wrap things up. My idea with this space right here is that maybe by using more obsidian, we'd take away that feeling like this is just the portal, you know. And now it does actually feel like that. It feels like it's more of a panel, and then the portal's there in the middle. So that was nice. And look at this dark oak and spruce wood, and all of that has come together extremely well. I am enjoying it. So then we got this right here. We need the viewing balcony sorted out. I'm going to go out there, tidy up the stone, remove the beacon eventually, and then we've also got the top area up here to do, and then we can call it done. And at the moment it's looking pretty bare. I've started to do something, played around with the idea of having another window over here, but I think it will just make everything a bit too much. Well, I kind of noticed there were some materials in the area which look kind of nice next to this floor, so I just decided to make a cage here that lets you look into the project around. And then I guess that means we can leave a window in here after all, since we're showing the caves and whatnot. Doesn't mean we need to do too much work decorating it, although you will be looking at that from behind here. Although you can't, you can kind of see the bottom. It allows you to check as well, allows you to make sure. I've just reminded myself though, we need a little area where you have like a chest so you can put your items in when you go AFK. Well, there we go, that will do. I'll stand on this spot AFK, chuck my items in here. It's all safe and all good, and there's just one thing left to do now, and that is to simply transfer all the junk left behind. So the project is pretty much finished at this point, and now I can confirm that it is indeed finished 100%, and you'll notice that that has been dug all the way down to the bottom, as has this one, which means all three of them are done, and now the farm is basically operating as fast as it can. Now a little bit of a funny story. Last episode we brought some stone and some andesite from Ren. Spent a lot of diamonds over there, when in fact I had loads of that stuff just lying around in these barrels. Now I have since emptied them out and taken them back to my base, but yeah, I left it here because I figured when I actually need all this stuff I'll come here and get it, and then I completely forgot that this existed, which is just typical of me. If I'm not careful, this next bit can go horribly wrong. And look at that, cows and sheep spawning in the area. Fantastic. I need to get in here and pray that there is no creeper near me. Because the creeper blew up and I fell in there and I died once. Oh. So I was meaning to record a time lapse, but I never got around to it. there was a point when these two rooms were slower than this one over here, and you could see that mobs would spawn in there far more frequently. Now that we've done these other two rooms, I'm going to say that this farm is probably 4 to 5 times faster than it was before. It will make a huge difference. So whenever we come to this area now, we're going to collect a crazy amount of drops from this farm. But now I've got to spend some time back here unloading all of these shulker boxes and organising them, which is why I left that stuff over there in the first place, because it's just a pain in the butt. Just need to remember that I actually got all of this. So the problem with our storage system is that we expanded it, added a bunch of barrels, and most of those are filled up already. So off to the side there is this iron door into the back area, and I figured, why don't we just go through there and put some bulk storage in that space. So alongside our sorting system, I've added in a bunch of barrels, and I put in some prismarine steps and a ceiling just to make it nice and a little bit homely, you know. And then I've sorted out all of the cobblestone and stone into these barrels. So, finishing touches, I can't exactly say there's much method to this madness. I figured 3x3 area for cobblestone, 3x3 for stone, and then going up the stairs we've got these ones. Yeah, it'll do. It'll be fine. And I could possibly expand this, you know, and have it go around the outside of this sorting system. And then maybe one day I rip out all this stone, turn it to prismarine, just make it a little bit more homely in here. But as we continue to just gather more and more resources, it's probably going to end up being necessary. So I didn't want to drag you back over to this place, but I decided to AFK at the mob farm, and in my hand you'll see there is a piece of paper. What does this piece of paper say? How did this get here? Paper something to do with Sahara, sample text, shop at Sahara, please, shop maybe at Sahara. Do you know what? I think Grian did this, and I think he's got too much time on his hands, I'll say that. Anyway, while I was over here, I was also recording a time-lapse of the farm in action. So, cue the music, and let's jump to that. Well, what can I say? It's an effective farm. It looks like we've got lots of bats over here, and you can see there's some problems with spiders, actually. It looks like we've got a little cluster of them up there, so there's maybe still some optimizations to make, but I was away for some time, and I mean, I'm just racking up all the materials here. This is absolutely fantastic. Look at all these drops. Crazy. So I've got a bunch of projects that I'm always working on in these episodes, right? And the ones that I most want to do next, I really need to start from the beginning of an episode and give myself all the kind of time to finish them. So I have something planned for the end of this episode, which I think is going to be interesting. Just thinking about how I'm going to execute it, but as of right now, I'm not sure really what I want to do on the server. And so I was looking at this space right here, and I was thinking, I'm going to eventually expand this storage, right? So why don't I tidy up all of this, make this area look nice, and I've actually got a project in mind that we'll do in a coming episode that I could put back in this area, which is a smelter, a super smelter of sorts, because the entire time I've been in this base, we've got the storage system, we've got the drops collecting a nether portal, and the transport to the main area. There's no furnace set up in here. Whenever I need to smelt something, I literally pull out my backpack, put down the furnaces and smelt stuff, and that's kind of ridiculous. So I was thinking maybe what I could do is somewhere over on this side have like a chest up in the top there, and I could send the items through to the backside and into a furnace array. So I'm going to work on expanding this storage. The furnace array would probably sit above it, and I've got some ideas for how we can make it all look interesting. One of those ideas was a balcony to look out onto the sorting system. You are kind of close to it, but I do like the feel of this room so far. But then everything else I've been doing has been kind of plain, because I'm just covering in the walls. It used to be all stone and stuff, so now it looks a little cleaner in here. So for this next area, I think I'd like to get a little bit creative and try and come up with something interesting. So through here is where we'll go to reach our furnace array, which is probably going to be built behind this big section. Like I said, there'll be a way to transport the items from the front so you don't come back into here too often. But I kind of need more operational space, you know, and my base is kind of limited in its 4 sides and what I put in them. So up the top here, I actually have like an area that I still come to and use. Now this nether portal needs to be preserved. I need to put something in this area for it because for some reason... What is this? Okay. Okay, we're doing a dance together, are we? For some reason, this links to Mumbo's portal, which is like a shortcut all the way back to the main nether hub. So I'd like to actually keep that up and running. And as you can see, I've just got a few other things in this area. Like if ever I need to brew a potion, get some cocoa beans or dyes. And more importantly, down the end here, we've got a fishing farm. I don't actually use this anymore. I'm done with these. I don't think I want to use them next season, whenever that's going to be. But this thing over here has been really useful for creating concrete as well. So that should probably be given a proper space. And look at this. We're in a slime chunk. So now I've got loads of slime spawning up in this area. So everything is going well. As I walk through here, you'll just see that I've continued the same block palette, added in these bone blocks, and kept things looking pretty clean around here. Now these furnaces will be a furnace array that we'll build eventually, and I hope to make them actually part of it. But the idea isn't for this to be functional at this point, it's just for display. So that's something that we'll come back to later. And now I'm thinking about populating all of these different panels that we have open with different things like potions and the flowers for getting dyes. Also through here there is a ravine, and inside of it I have built a beacon because I needed to mine fast. It's a little bit far away actually. I just kind of came to the closest open spot. But whenever we do build that furnace array, I guess I'm going to have to drain some of this. And look, it goes all the way up to the ocean. So there's a lot of work to be done there. Or maybe not. Actually, yeah, it kind of looks like it's directly above where the furnace is. But yeah, anyway, that's a problem for another day. Well, it looks like we've lost our magic portal. It used to be just right here, I think. And these blocks needed to be ripped out because... they were obsidian and they needed to be dark prismarine. But I've tried moving it to a few different places in this area and it never works. It always just goes back to my part of the nether hub. So I think I'm going to try maybe 1 or 2 more times. But it looks like we lost our magic nether portal. Alright, one last attempt. Fingers crossed. I know it's not going to work. I don't know why that last one did work. Yeah, it just keeps taking me back to here. Oh well, that's fine. Well, that leaves the area back here pretty much finished. There's a little bit left open there because I'm going to go behind and build the furnace array. And yes, I've sort of extended it across to either side. So potions are now over here. Then we got our flowers. I'm going to put some bone meal in that chest. And then on the opposite side, we've got the cocoa beans. So with the mob farm finished and me getting distracted by adding storage and rearranging parts of my base, we can get to what I wanted this episode to be about, which was a social experiment. I had a little bit of an idea in my mind. I realised that social experiment sounds kind of silly if you know some of the ridiculous videos that appear on YouTube. But anyway, let's get to the point. I wanted to conduct an experiment and give something away to the other hermits. And I don't know if this is really a great idea or not, but it's going to involve all of you as well, mainly letting the other hermits know that this social experiment is underway. So in here we have loads and loads of wool, and I'm basically going to give it all away with little instruction and see what the hermits do. Will they take loads or little, what they need? I don't know. Hey, I wanted to give something back and I wanted to also turn it into something unique, so I thought we'd do an experiment. So anyway, first step, we've got to transport all of these shulker boxes to where we're going to be doing this giveaway. So I won't be building anything special other than like a blast crater from where a wall comet has come from the sky and blown a hole in the ground. And this is the last of the stuff right here. So we're going to unload all of these shulker boxes into chests. I got some additional wool there. This has got some mixed stuff. We're giving this all away, is the idea. So there it is, we have our colourful crater in place, and now what I'm going to do is place down 32 chests all around the place here. In fact, I'll try and make it so they all sort of face inwards, since that's what I've started off by doing. So oh yeah, carpets. Well, I'll put them on top of blocks. So we had, what was it, 2 lots of shulker box for each colour, so that's why 32. Might end up with 1 or 2 more, just because... Now I think about it, I brought some extra shulker boxes as well. I definitely placed down 32 chests, right, because there's 1 or 2 that are empty. Which is very strange, because I've emptied all of my shulker boxes and double checked that I brought every colour over here. You can pause the video and triple check, I assure you, we have the right amount of shulker boxes here. I'm thinking maybe I should have placed this in the middle here a little bit higher. It doesn't pop out from the ground level, but it grabs your attention, which is what I wanted it to do. And wasn't it just like an episode ago that, yeah, I totally derped? Tried to use bone meal on the sign. It is working, but you need to use white dye. That has confused me many times. Gonna take a while to get used to that one, right? Anyway, book and quill over here for people to read. Do not sign. All the wool here is free. Take what you need for your Minecraft projects. All you need to do is write your name in this book, what you took, and why. That is all. No strings attached. And the Vindicator here is kind of ominous with the axe, lurking over the hermits, coming round to pick up some free wool. As you can see, I've scattered all of the different colours all over the place. That is not actually one of the chests. That's some tidying up that I've got to do. Now, this is a social experiment. To what ends, I don't know. I just kind of want to see what each of the different hermits will do and what they will take. Now, I need you to get involved because you need to tell the hermits that this exists. So in their videos, you should go and comment, and if we look at the coordinates here, let's just round this to -100, -650, and I'll let you tell the hermits what you want, but it's up to you to tell them that these resources are here for free. So you can go comment that in their videos. And just so it's clear, I'm not going to be doing such a thing. I'm not even going to mention that this is here to any other hermit. So it's up to all of y'all to let them know. So that's it, my friends. This is where we wrap up the episode. If you have enjoyed it, then please do leave a like. Thank you as always for your support. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, you know, catch more Hermitcraft episodes. There'll be another one very soon. Thank you for watching, peeps. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.